It's abundance live, we on the rise. Forget distractions, we unveiling the guys. Building solutions, the building never stops. Indigenous ties, they fake our demise. But we spread the knowledge, gotta claim what is ours. No time for debating, ain't trying to divide. This is
I don't know how to work this.
deal with the lies, real plans we devise. Take you out from a mirage, our people are hypnotized. The truth can't be denied. So we take it back to the essence. Back when it wasn't lame to spread the lessons.
Somebody can't see us.
Scared, we spit the message. Every form of truth was questioned, no guessing. Cipher, obsession, state of repression. Music was expression. Skipping the bread from breaking bread in a second.
You tell me when to bring your mic up.
We felt another presence. We in the now. Age of information. You're two again lives that they can't filter the nation. The frequency high, got the good vibration. Delaware the location. Worldwide the gaze. We do it for the youth. Manifest the change.
Okay, how much time I got?
One love,
Hot mics.
Oh, welcome to Abundancechild Live. Thank you for tuning in. We are in episode 5 and we are live on WJVS Radio. We do this each and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please don't forget that we do have an app so you can always carry us in your pocket. I am your host, Abundancechild.
And I am vocalist John Carr, a star from another galaxy, a soldier of love. And I do mean love in all languages, y'all. Hooah. Hooah.
Hooah. This is the space where destiny meets legacy and alignment, where cosmology becomes practical, and where truth doesn't run from the light. So this week, like I said, is episode 5, and we're talking about reclaiming the role of women. We are debunking the negative connotation of the word witch and witchcraft. We are calling on all the wise women back into the center of the village to take the seat of their birthright that belongs to them. So before we get started, you already know how we do, family. And keep it simple. You know, we always give thanks for the Supreme Being, the Most High, Oludumare. We give thanks for all the Arumale. We give thanks for Bogbo Orisha. We give thanks to our Oris for helping us to descend on this earth and be amongst all these beautiful people and being able to be in this world. Onile, the mother, our first mother. We give thanks for WJVS Radio.
Yes.
We give thanks for all the ancestors and those who are tuned in and all those people who will be sharing this beautiful radio show that we have today. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Ashe. All right. So again, we are live on WJVSradio.com and we are debunking witchcraft. We are not, and I had to be careful because I did put witchcraft, but it's really the word, but you couldn't put all that in the title. Right. But it carries such a negative connotation.
It does. With that being said, can you explain to me what connotation is?
A connotation is the way the society views a word, the way that we feel about it. What is the standard accepted definition of the word? But it might not actually be the actual real definition of the word. The real definition would be the denotation. And we can't talk about denotation, the real definition of a word, without talking about the etymology of the word. And the etymology of the word is the origin of the word. And the origin of the word witch comes from Wicca, which is a male, and Wicca, which is a female. And I believe that comes from Old English.
Old English, yes.
And that was a person that is wise. Remember, there was a male and a female, Wicca and Wicca. So witch not necessarily just being a woman.
Right.
It's a male or a female, but all the images that we have always seen in the connotation has been female.
Right.
At Halloween, I've never seen any men dressing up as witches.
Right.
And
never.
In Wizard of Oz, for example, it's all the Wicked Witch of the West and the Good Witch of the East and so forth.
But wasn't he the wizard behind the screen? Was he a wizard as well?
Right. So technically, that would also be a witch, and they call the male witches wizards. So yeah, just a whole lot of stuff. So basically, the connotation, according to Webster's Webster's connotation is a woman with malignant superpowers. Malignant is something that is negative. It's misaligned. A practitioner of Wicca or a pagan religion. A mean or ugly old woman or even a seductive woman.
Do you think it's hard to get past the grotesque image of what a witch is?
No, I don't think it's hard to get past because
I mean, when you're reclaiming it, the programming that's been in our minds of witch.
I think it's not hard for me. I've been enduring this for a while, but for some people, maybe our aunties, some of the people that are in the church still, and like the church is their life, it might be hard. I remember people in my family like, yeah, all the witches in our family have this mole. And I'm like, what do you do with that when you're a child? Like, all the witches in our family have the mole. And, but there were some other things that I wanted to tell our audience about witch coming from the Old English, but they also say that it comes from wick jazz. I think it's wick jazz, meaning one who bends or shapes, meaning like you are a shapeshifter, or somebody who can bend reality, like bending reality on some old Neville Goddard type time, or what else? They link it to weg, meaning to be strong, awake, or alive. So they also say that it comes from a Proto-Germanic, Indo-European that originated in Europe. And when we think of Europe, the first thing we think of are people who don't look like us, right? Blonde hair, blue eyes. We don't think of people who look like us. But that's a colonial framing. Because the early Germanic tribes were the Celtics, the Druids, and these people had ways of life and spiritualities that definitely come from melanated people. They are definitely casting Ifa. They might not have the whole system, but they're casting Ifa when they're casting runes. They might not have the whole system, but when they're dealing with the I Ching, or I don't know how you pronounce it, the I Ching, that's definitely Ifa, but not the whole system. I was having a conversation with Aloya Ayala Kamari, and she was telling me about how all these systems, Hinduism, Buddhism, the things that we're even finding in the Celtic traditions and stuff like that, people are dealing with the philosophy, but they're not dealing with the Ebo and the sacrifice. They're not dealing with the true heart and soul of the way of life, that Ebo and sacrifice part. And so Confucius went on to just deal with the philosophy of it. And I see that as a way to intellectually have an understanding for these systems and stuff like that. So everybody can have an understanding of it. And that is what I would like to do with the word witch, and using the philosophy of what our ancestors did and having some understanding of that history to know how it was turned around. So when we think about the Germanic tribes, just getting back to that, they were Celtic, they were Norse, they were Druidic, and they had a spiritual DNA that was absolutely tied to Akibalan, or what people call Africa. And they honored the ancestors. They had reverence and they venerated them. And there was a feminine and a male priesthood that worked together. Right? When people think of the matriarchy, they just think it's just a whole bunch of Amazon women. Not saying that didn't exist. Like in California, they literally were Amazon women that were us. They looked like us. And we see that in Superwoman and stuff like that. But most times it was a most functional society. Right. Our original societies, ancient African indigenous cultures always had matriarchal or matrilineal or matrifocal societies. And those Germanic tribes, which started making up European nations, were all clans that had systems that were ones that are identical to the ones that we have now in Africa.
Wow, that's a lot of history. A lot of history right there.
So I just want people to know that just because we're talking about people say English is a bastard language, I don't want people to think that reclaiming the word or debunking the word or saying we should contend to be able to use that word, that it's like we're trying to reclaim something that's European. Absolutely not. It's ancestral. Right. It's ours. Everything is ours. We are the salt of the earth. We are the first people here, the first beings here. We are the caretakers of it. Nobody owns anything, but we are definitely the ones that were chosen to be the caretakers. We were the first ones. So when I say we're reclaiming it, I'm trying to reach through time and restore a sacred archetype. I am a wise woman. I am a seer. I am a regulator. I am a witch. She's never been lost. They only try to rearrange it and change everything and take us out of our seat that we're supposed to be in. And so I'm here to say we need to take it back.
Take it
and
back.
we absolutely no.
Take it back.
We need to be dealing with the craft.
I agree. Take the seat back, women. Y'all belong in it. Look at the world today and the state of chaos that it's in. You know, we need you.
Yeah,
I need you.
that's love. That's what you told me that love actually is.
It's need.
You said it's needing
need.
someone. So again, you're listening to Abundancechild Live. All right, it is 10 minutes after the hour. We are on WJVS Radio. Please, please, please do your best to be tuning in. Listen, when y'all tune in, our numbers go up.
Yes, indeed.
That means that we can continue this programming. That means that we can do amazing things. We got amazing things going on.
Yes.
The second Friday of every month, we are right here in Wilmington doing grown folks things. We got a generational X experience where Drop Squad Kitchen is going to be in the building.
Yes.
Shameless plug. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing because this is the way that we bring community together. So speaking of that, I would like to go to commercial and big up my own self, Drop Squad Kitchen.
Drop Squad.
Shake it, I keep God, I shake it, I keep God, I shake it. Nothing's better than Drop Squad.
Can you help me with this? I'm supposed to be live, but I can't see anything on my screen. Like when I practice, it was definitely live. You know what I mean? But it's like upload video. I don't want to be doing any of this. I just want to be able to see myself. I can't see anything. You see what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be on all these places. I don't see anything.
So how are we doing? Okay, you got something after this or no? Or do they go right back in?
Nah, they just go right back in.
Okay.
I'm 12 minutes in and I can't see anything.
Right. You did that already? Click on it. Now click on it again.
Oh my God.
Click on it again. No. Okay. Next time, let's get out of here.
I can't. I'm live.
Yeah, I would go live again because
I can't. I'm live.
Oh.
Is this right?
Got like a minute and 45 seconds.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just want to know when to bring that mic.
I'm gonna cue you in.
Listen, while you're there, you want to know what I'm hitting.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is bringing you in and out, and this is them.
Really 10 minutes in.
It's about the same level. When it's time for them to talk, I put them here.
I mean, because they can hear us,
And
right?
this is you. I know you can't see this, but
So we're just gonna run it back.
you gotta
So
figure
it's another mixture like track.
When I do the Drop Squad Kitchen commercial,
just this,
also,
really.
this is
So you can see
not
that.
right there.
So if I pull you back,
This
I
is
just
not
like
the
to
right
have
thing.
it probably just a little space, but I can see it better on this because it goes.
You didn't refresh.
This is the radio.
I didn't because I was afraid. I'm already on the screen.
I might
I'm
have
already
to find
like
it.
the stream
okay.
keys and everything are.
So you could do it.
Okay, I They got can't you. see
Or you could
Can you chat and see why I
But I
can't
had
see
time
it?
to
Can
show
you
you.
hear chat?
It looked like it's just like leveling and stuff like that. Just
That's all.
yeah.
It's just I worry about radio level. You know what I mean? Not really what. This is sound level. I just want to make sure my radio always stays a certain area. It just depends on the track. Sometimes they go like the DJs will scratch something in or whatever, and the track will be up or down. Or if it's an older track, a lot of times it's low, and it's just like a little bit. Ain't much to it. The system's so automated. Is that them? How much time? Alright, you just give me a key.
Welcome back to Abundancechild Live. I'm your host, Abundancechild. I'm here with my husband.
Vogel is John Carr, a star, again from another galaxy, a soldier of love in all languages, y'all. Hooah, hooah.
Thank you for tuning in. We are talking about witchcraft. We're talking about witch. We're talking about the word and how the connotation is not the same as the original definition, which really is saying that we are wise women, we are shapeshifters, we are regulators, and to I really just want us to really reclaim being a witch.
Right.
I really want us to not feel bad about
Right.
it. I was telling the people earlier that now in retrospect, I know that was bullying, that my peers would be like, oh, she's a witch, or don't deal with her because she's a witch, because they were dealing with Christianity and I was just finding myself and
Right.
dealing with Orisha lifestyle and culture. And, I got my ancestors' birth early on, and received my warriors and stuff like that. So obviously you come to my house or things like that. And, before it was a trend, I was wearing ilekes and things like that. So it was really hurtful, and I really didn't know how to deal with it. And I always felt small, and I felt like I didn't even want to talk to my family about it because I didn't want people to just think that I was doing something evil. And that's what I'm saying, is that we need witchcraft. We need the craft, because how I came to find out about it was through Ifa, actually, and learning about Aj. And I might be mispronouncing because you have Aj as far as money is concerned,
Right.
and my tones could be wrong, but Aj as far as the energy and the force that is natural with mothers. And I needed to be able to speak to my mom and my aunties
Right.
and everybody about it. But thankfully, I didn't get caught up in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really started working with my ancestors and started working with my ancestors from that are not immediate. And I started finding out that it's okay.
Right.
It's okay to be yourself.
Right. Always okay to believe in yourself and be yourself. Is Ifa the way you reclaim the word witch for yourself?
Yeah, through dreams, through I noticed that every time I get initiated to an Orisha, that as time goes by, things are strengthened, things are sharper. My nose, I have the nose of my mother's, like my sense is sharper, my crying spells, my dreams, I'm starting to understand them better. So yeah, it showed me the truth. And after Itefa, I definitely saw clearly. I'm talking about 5-6 years later, not like immediately. And I started to understand that Aj, what a lot of people are calling witches, are not inherently good or bad.
Right.
It is what it is. And it's the spirit of the mothers. And it's the ones who birthed our Ori. And it's our cosmic lineage. And it's our family in the beyond. And it inspired me to motivate others to not forget who and what makes them children of the spirits now, who have overseen all of our destinies, like whether we know it or not. There are energies, entities, beings, mothers who are overseeing, that are watching and have vigil over us while we're here on earth. And it is best if we do not forget them.
Right.
It is best that we keep them in our memory, whether it's by having pictures of them, by talking about them. It is for our own protection.
One of the best experiences that I have had in my life is knowing that those ancient ones, those wisdom holders and great spirits of my mothers and fathers are here with us, never being alone. You're not alone. You're not alone.
I remember, we've never actually really even had an argument, but I remember for the first time I just really wanted to curse you out was when we first met. We were courting, and I asked you,
I remember.
I was like, so is your mom still with us? And you were like,
I so deserve that check. You checked me. You really did check me. Because that's the typical answer that I give, but you press buttons to allow me to keep it real and go deeper.
But they don't know what we're talking about. So let's tell them what we're talking about. I asked you if your mom was still with us.
Right.
And you said yes.
I said yes.
And I was like, oh, because I thought they had passed, because you were telling me stories like that was the worst time in your life when your parents passed. Like you really tried to just meditate your way out of here.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be clear and I asked you and you just would not back down as the Virgo you are. You're just like, nah, because I feel them and I talk to them all the time. I see them all the time. And so that's what I'm talking about,
Right.
is that right there,
Right.
that we need to have those types of connections, that our family never leaves us. Our family is always with us. Our family. Can you imagine? You see the relationship I have with my mom now?
Yes.
I don't think that the moment that she transitions, that's going to change.
No.
I think that I'm still going to smell her like I do now. I know when I'm like, oh, my mom's about to call me. I smell ivory soap when I know my grandmother is around. My daughters and I have been practicing for years that I said that when I transition, I want them to know when I'm in the room, when I'm talking,
Right.
when I have a message. So we practice with our Egungun Nation chat, sending numbers or saying, hey, were you just thinking about me? Things like that. So that is my main point for saying why we need to get back to the witchcraft, because in our and said, all we can be is a nun. I urge people to find out true history that is being revealed to us all the time on, with social media and in this age of information.
I agree with you 100%. All powerful and mighty mother.
Yeah.
Almighty and powerful. So
you sounded, thank you. So excuse me real quick. What was I doing wrong? What do I need to do?
You didn't do anything wrong. I just had to
restart it like you said?
Yeah,
I was so
put
afraid.
a be right back sign up there for you.
Oh, so we're live. Hey, people. And YouTube. And
doesn't she look
Instagram
beautiful, y'all?
and,
This powerful, mighty woman.
Thank you.
So radiant.
Oh. So I'm glad that y'all can see us, but I'm sure you could hear us before. We've been talking about witchcraft and how they use that to really make women, and especially the melanated woman, take a back seat. And it's really terrible because it's mama in that society, from the original societies that have been attuned with us and have been making sure that our family still exists and haven't gone extinct. but yet we don't pay them any pilgrimage because society has said no incense, no astrology, no cards. All of that is stuff of the devil.
Of the devil.
That's what I grew up hearing, and that's what I see now. I really do. I'm in moms groups, like the moms group of Delaware, and I'm watching people talking about that some pagan stuff. I'm like, what? I don't even know if I should be in this group, you know? So I really want us to debunk the negative connotation of witchcraft. I really want us to really start doing our due diligence and getting intellectual about finding out our history, the cosmology of the Great Mother. I know that when I was pregnant with my daughter, Mama Tassili told me to read this. So when I say I be reading books, I be reading books. They're all marked up.
And how many of them you got around? You got like what, 2 sets of them around the house?
Every book that I have here, I have 2 sets because I use these to teach in Order Mother Earth and the Daughters of the Flow, which is my own personal rites of passage program for my daughters, or for the first daughters. Order Mother Earth was for the daughters. First, it was Girl Society. Then, as I knew that we were growing older, it's Order Mother Earth. And then I have my own secret society for the first daughters in our lineage, and I'll talk about that later. But I have all of Mama Zogbe's books. I am a true student of her. I never, may she rise in her power. We'll listen to her stuff over and over and over again just so we can have it in the background and it's in our psyche. But yeah, I have, Voodoo. The Sibyls was the first one. Everybody in Order Mother Earth. If you're not reading this and you're in Order Mother Earth, you need a spanking. One that you can't see is underneath the computer that I have here. But yeah, these are just some of my books. And great people today that are still living that I love, and I it's on my list. It's on my Amazon list for people to read. Is Isheshe by Sister Ayele Kamare, and also Hand of Ifa. I also have her book Ia Nifa. I have all of those.
I love that book, Hand of Ifa.
So these are modern day people that you can actually find online. Sister Louisa Tage. These are people that Jambalaya, I love that book. These are people who gave us stuff before ChatGPT, before Instagram, before social media, that I think that you should be finding their Facebook and Instagram pages and following what they're talking about. I really do. So, because a lot of the confusion comes from folks preaching traditions that they haven't lived. They're just reselling sacredness. What do you think about that?
I've been fed up with that for a long time. It keeps the community from addressing real issues. I'm of this, I'm of that, and none of them are really living the life. So I vowed to do different, me personally, to live the life.
We vow.
Yes. But on my journey to you, I vowed to do my best to live the life that I share with others. And that is truly believing in others, and I can say that I'm proud of myself for doing just that, believing in me, because I was that child to get a beating. You ain't gonna tell me. You can't tell me not to keep grandma in remembrance. So growing into that meeting you is just a whole nother dimension for me, because again, I've always known you from the work you've done in the community. So for me to come from a small town like Chester to come see and sit in your event by myself.
Wow, thank you.
I said consistently all the time, you were sitting in your seat then, and you are sitting and growing rapidly in your seat now. And I love it. And I love you.
Thank you. I love you. So yeah, we're not really here to shame anybody, but we just want to quiet a lot of the noise, and we want you to wake up the bones that you have in your body. We want you to wake up the spirits that are waiting to hear from you, because you don't need the books. You don't need the altars to be powerful. We really don't. You just really have to be you. And that's what I love about you, is that your whole life's mission is to get people to believe in you. You even have a song called Believe in You. And I just think that that's amazing, because that's what I needed at the time. That's what I need now. I constantly need that encouragement. But that's what I want people right now who are listening, is to believe, always be you. Like most have said, the ABY, always be you. Believe in you. And to believe in you, you have to believe in Mama. You have to. So one of the things that Mama Zogbe said, that it just really, you know how we always say slavery was over. We don't need to be doing that. My ancestors didn't do that and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She said that slavery is viewed as a historical continuum and triggered by the decline of African hegemony rooted in the experience more than 2,000 years ago. That if we don't go back to the ancestral practices of our foremothers and fathers from the beginning of our lines
Mm-hmm.
that were doing things like Ifa and Voodoo, then we will not be able to survive. We won't be able to start. Like, first of all, we will always be here. We'll be here forever, but we will be suffering and have misfortune and obstacle will be a part of our life.
Wow.
We'll see another 400 or 500 years of slavery if we want to keep messing around. And we have to think about that, right? She said that mark her words. We have to go back to that. Because if we don't, we really are like executing ourselves. And she said that it is a spiritual thing, not an intellectual thing. So I am saying to get your information junkie off, find out the history of your lineage, find out who we were before the colonizers said we were, these things. But on the spiritual side, you're going to have to find things like Ifa and Voodoo so that you can tap into your destiny. It's going to start with consultations. And I love something that Ayala Kamari had posted, Oloye, because she definitely earned that. Ayala Kamari. One time she wrote, and this is way back in 22, she said, get an African diaspora priest who can mentor you and knows the ropes, even as an intermediary with African ones. If you are African diasporan and you think you are going to bypass all the African diasporan Babas and Iyas and get a Nigerian one because you think it's more authentic, or you can be a priest on your own, you will be lost and broke very soon. Many will take your money and sell you a shrine or do initiation and won't teach you anything. You will be 5 to 10 years and still trying to figure out how to greet your shrine. Imagine that. Don't know how to greet your own Ifa. And all you will have is a bowl of rocks, grass, and nuts or sticks, cute profile pics with an African name, and a very expensive lesson. It may not be that there are bad people or frauds. It's just knowing Ifa, Orisha in Africa doesn't mean they know how we live here or how to navigate American lifestyles. There is a huge cultural gap. And knowing Ifa, Orisha doesn't mean they know how to teach it to Western audience or even have the time to. So don't discount those who are here in America and who can help teach you over time, whether you initiate in Africa or in the diaspora. I thought that was really important because based off of the fact that she said slavery is a continuum. And it's another thing. We go and we're real quick for that person who's in the inbox talking about your ancestors have a message, for you, and you go get stuff done and you don't know about who the founders of your lineage are, and you don't know whether they came over on the slave trade or were they already here and indigenous Mesoamericans. You really don't know. You don't know if you have European in you. But the point is that you're going and you're getting work done, or you're taking information from Instagram, and you have not had a relationship with your own line. And nobody has said, I apologize. Nobody has made offerings to those, meaning like those people who are selling you these services, selling you Ifa, selling you Orisha, might come from a family that sold your lineage into slavery. And you don't know that. How many people are asking those questions or know to ask those questions before they start working with a Babalao or an Ian Ifa or want to get initiated into something? And that lineage never apologized to your lineage. And now you wondering why you have Ifa, you have Orisha, you have all these things mounted on your head, and you broke, you're miserable, you want to throw your pots away. So this is why I'm saying we have to get back to the craft, and the craft doesn't look like what we think it is. And
what does the craft look like today?
The craft to me looks like, it shows up to me in personal relationships. Just recently, I found out that I was blocked by somebody. And I did not know I offended this person, I caused any harm or anything like this. I found out through a mutual friend. And I'm like, that is some witchcraft. Because I am running around here, and now mind you, as an Ian Ifa, I do get dafas on the regular, and they're always talking about there are people using witchcraft against you. And I'm like, but they're not using it in the way that you would think that they're not using Ifa to do it, because they know you do Ifa, so it's coming in a different way. And it wasn't until I cried to this person and was just like, what kind of elder or somebody that says that they are healing people or somebody that's is doing work with other women and somebody offended them and they didn't pull you aside and be like, hey, you disrespected me, you offended me, you caused harm to me, and did not give me an opportunity to grow, or did not give me an opportunity to repent for that matter. And this has been years, right? I'm finding out. And I'm just like supporting this person, admiring this person, and go find this person. It was like, oh yeah, she's blocked because she disrespected me. And I'm like, what? And so, the elder was like, I need y'all to talk to each other because both y'all, this person said that you inspired her to this and inspired her to that. And I'm thinking, I'm really in tears talking to this person, like, how are you my elder? And if I did anything to offend you, you didn't come tell me. What kind of fake conscious community am I a part of? And I started saying, this is witchcraft. This is where the show came from. I said, that is witchcraft. How dare you sabotage yourself?
Right.
And you are supposed to be working with people. That's one of the reasons why we have to get DAFA, because if we're going to be working with the community and healing and reading other people, you don't want to be casting stuff and all you're doing is projecting yourself.
Right.
You got to be in a right frame of mind. So I'm like, how are you sabotaging yourself, holding on to all this energy and pain and feeling disrespected, and you're showing up in this dimension? Science already said that we can show up in like 11 different dimensions. So in some dimension out there, you got a problem with abundance, and she don't even know it.
She don't know it.
So one, you're sabotaging yourself. You're holding on to stuff and things are crystallizing in your body. So if you're not healthy, how are you out here healing people? Then how narcissist and how selfish is that you didn't want to tell somebody, but you out here talking about somebody else
as an elder.
So if you're talking about somebody and that person doesn't know it, to me that's gossip. And what I have learned in E5, that is considered a taboo. So you don't do those types of things. You don't speak on people, like their names and stuff like that, without them being present and being able to. So I felt like that was witchcraft. I feel like I don't know what's going on with Drop Squad Kitchen, all the crazy stuff that was happening. There might be people out there that say that they admire me and they love me, but they really wish my downfall because they really don't want me to grow. They really don't want me to heal because they never said nothing to my face about that they had a problem with me. That's witchcraft. See how, to me, it shows up?
Yeah.
It's not just, that sister is not, I'm sure, lighting a candle and be like, abundance. You know what I mean? I'm sure she's not doing any type of chants or anything like that. She genuinely feel like I did something that hurt. And what's crazy for me is that tapping into my ancestral line, I found, because my ancestors on my mom's side, my grandmother, Order of Eastern Star, my grandfather was a Mason. So, of course, I went into that. And I got some degrees conferred on me at the last Beyond Juneteenth festival. And one was water, the Ashe of water. And I'm a water child. So I started crying to the elder. And next thing you know, it was like, oh my God, I know exactly what happened. I literally didn't like the way this sister handled another sister and didn't want to say anything on her page because she's like how I used to be and will chop your head off for disagreeing with her. So I went on my own page and made something, and I think she felt disrespected by that because my own thread, we were saying such and such. And I could see how she felt disrespected, but my whole thing was like, say something to me. That is a form of witchcraft. Witchcraft to me is, we all talked about sinners and we all talked about how there's hoodoo and everybody's debating, is this Orisha? Do they have an Orisha beads? Do they have on hoodoo beads? All this type of stuff. The real witchcraft is that $74 million. That's a lot of money that movie made.
Oh, wow.
That's some witchcraft to me. Witchcraft looks like the fact that we got people over here that are indigenous to America and paper genocide happened and we keep birthing new children and we still don't know who we are and we're still identifying ourselves as Black. That's some witchcraft. Like, even though we know that we are not Black, African American, Negro, or colored, and we've had all types of people from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, all these types of things, Nation of Islam and came up, and we still calling ourselves Black. And that's fine if we want to come together and say, for the record, that's what we're going to be called, and we are the nation of Black. But that's not what we're doing.
Right.
So that is some serious witchcraft. And the witchcraft to me is because we're not talking to our elders and saying, hey, what were we called before United States was the United States? What were we called where did our lineage come from? There's roots readings. There's all types of things for that. So we have to get back to our original religions of the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the cosmologies that came with that. And that is the cosmology of Mama. Period.
Sun, moon, and the stars. That is
That's
very
astrology,
important. So,
and astrology shows up as these are mythologies for us. Like, these are real ancestors.
Yes.
It's not fake.
Yeah.
We don't have to make stuff up. We don't have to make up something and call it Wicca. Like, Ifa is really what we had. Voodoo is really what we had. What predates that?
Right.
So.
Well, I look at you sharing the story with the elder as a way of, and you correct me if I'm wrong, keeping it real and making each other accountable in these spiritual circles.
Yeah.
We're so easy to get lost and be misguiding people. I've never seen an elder not check me if I was wrong.
Yeah, I'm coming into my eldership. I'm going to be 50. I want to be checked, and I really think people should be checked. And that's all I'm saying about that situation. I wanted to give an example of what I think is witchcraft. My daughters have heard me say it over and over and over again. Do not tell somebody that you have an issue with them and then be trying to talk to me. Go talk to that person. I've heard King Simon say he is a man. He is not going to be talking to me about it. He's going to, if somebody brings up somebody, he's going to call that person right then and there and talk about it.
As you should.
So
as you should.
That's where I'm at with that. And I also wanted to talk about how we can apply these things in our life. How do we apply witchcraft in our life without, I know it's going to be hard for people to get past the idea or the connotation. And because if you Google right now, which I did, everything that I saw when I saw witch, it didn't look like me.
Right.
It looked like something from the Wizard of Oz. It looked like something from Halloween. So I would like to say that 10 years from now in SEO, I see people having great relationships with their mothers from the beyond to the ones that are here and understanding their ancestral errands. So one of the ways that I use witchcraft in my family is by having mommy healing ceremonies once a month, bringing people together, sisters together, and making sure that we are mothering the mother.
Right.
And asking the hard questions and having conversations while we eat really good food. And we do amazing witchy type of rituals that people call witchy. I'm just saying that's what they call witchy. So this week, next week coming up, we're doing cord cutting ceremony. Because we need to cut some cords. And people will be like, oh, that's witchcraft. We might read Psalms. Because people think of, for you Christians, where did the Psalms come from? The Psalms might have just been plagiarized from other places like Syria, where they found identical copies or things that look just like the Psalms in the way that they were constructed in a major mother goddess temple. So that's why they're so powerful, right? The prophetess, the Sibyls were the ones who were downloading this information, and we were the first ones to write these things out. And the whole Bible is supposedly plagiarized. The whole Catholic Church supposedly just took all of our stuff, and then you got the Protestants that went behind that and was like, oh, we don't believe it. It's all messed up. And we're all a product of all that messed up stuff.
Right.
So if you birth a baby into messed up soil, or into an environment where the state of mind of people are messed up and they're like, get them vaccinated. Use this pyramid. Y'all never created a pyramid ever in life, but you want us to eat like your food pyramid. And next thing you know, babies have ADHD and babies have autisms and things like that because you gave them these vaccinations, because you wouldn't allow them to do natural things like be with the mother and just nurse for a couple years and get all the immunization that you need. That's what witchcraft looks like to me if we turn it around. It looks like having our own rites of passage societies in our actual families before we do it in our communities.
So it's important to start it in the family at home.
Yeah, I started a girls' society because my children were homeschooled, and that wasn't a big thing. Nobody was doing that at the time. Nobody was doing that in the state of Delaware. There was no resources. People were not vaccinating. There was no way that I could not get my children vaccinated. I had to write up all my own stuff. You know, I had to write up everything in order for me to have, for my children to not have birth certificates, not have socials, not get vaccinated in the homeschool. They locked me up and said that, what is it called? Truancy, because I didn't register with the state. I'm like, well, I'm not a state of Delaware resident. I'm not a U.S. citizen. So I got to register nothing. Why would I register? You know, so I had to write all of that type of stuff up, case dismissed, case dismissed. But my point is, that's witchcraft. That was me tapping into my spiritual mothers. You know how many, when you think about so-called African American women, they say we're angry and we're black.
Right.
Maybe, but maybe it's a misuse of our power. Because maybe our ancestral mothers, not the ones that raised us as single moms, not the ones that had us in the church, not the ones that was pushing us to get European majority educations, not those ones that pressed our hair. Maybe it's the ones from that ancient that we can feel and we tired of ish. And we know that we're powerful and we know that we're something special. But we just haven't had a society or systems, institutions put in place. So real witchcraft to me looks like having institutions. Girl Society started because I was homeschooling my children and I wanted them to be able to socialize. So I would put out little flyers and say, hey, we're making brownies, we're making popcorn. Does anybody want to come make brownies and popcorn? And hey, guess what? Because I used to work for the Girl Scouts, and I was like, we could do our own Girl Scouts. So I'm going to teach them entrepreneurship and how to sell it. So we went from brownies and popcorn to making, what did we make? Shea butter, hair conditioner, tooth powder, deodorant. And as you see in the refrigerator, I'm making our own detergents and stuff.
Right.
So that was a real thing. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I can't just be having all these mamas from the hood. I'm not from the hood. So that's what I was thinking at the time. I'm just not. So I was like, mamas from the hood coming in here talking about Crisco. And I'm like, wait. We use coconut oil, you know? It was a learning curve. So I created Order Mother Earth. Amala was my first sister. She's still chief mother of it. But what I'm saying is I started at home with what I needed. And what you are seeking is seeking you. And she was all the way down at the summit of the Moors, and I initiated her in the bathroom at the summit of the Moors. You know, it's crazy. Powerful. And we are still together to this day. And from Order Mother Earth, when that started kind of like having to be redone, I came up with Daughters of the Flow. And Daughters of the Flow are the daughters of Florence, first daughters of Odu. Living Odu, FLO, first living Odu, meaning like my mom is the oldest and her oldest daughter. I'm the oldest daughter, and I birthed an oldest daughter. And I said, oh my gosh, we are a trifecta.
Wow.
We are a coven. There's something about when Maxine, Nana, and D'Amico get together.
Right.
There's something about when Chanel, Yewande, and Dominique get together. There's something about Aunt Kia, me, and Aunt Chanel. You know, that kind of thing. All these trifectas in my life. Me, Aunt Ebony, Osset, and Yanobi. I could just keep on going. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new thing. So I created a whole platform, which is going to be available to the people soon. I think I'm going to do it on Substack and let people subscribe to get, you know, the templates for how to do this. But, you know, we've got about, you know, it's 8:48 right now, so got a little bit of time. But I wanted people to understand the path of Order Mother Earth and understand how witchcraft shows up in my life as an example, and how we have to debunk what they told us what it is, right? So to understand the path of Order Mother Earth and Order of the Flow is to understand the mysteries of our ancestors. The matriarch is crowned with many deities. She is the mediator premier between the living and the dead. She is the chief, the oracle, the mother, the Ajay, the queen of all the spirits anywhere in the world and across all cultures, ethnicities, and faiths. It is faiths, and through her, all the family lines come to speak. So let's say you need to settle something in your family. You want to go to one of the Daughters of the Flow. And this is how we did it for our family. I'm not speaking for everybody's. I'm just reading what we are for my family. Right. So to dispute and to learn the status of a missing relative, or why this person is not getting a job, you know, all the things that we come together and discuss now. We really have these discussions in my family now. So it is through her that initiates come to speak, through crown deities to verify if their family going-ons are correct. And it is through her that the living come to learn what their destiny and their soul spirit wants of them. She is the chief of all the ceremonies. that you can be. So I'm still in training. So for example, we have a daughter that is 33 weeks pregnant. And so because I haven't received the training or the ashe to do an Esentaye, I of course called. I suggested someone, and she called somebody that I suggested. I gave her a plethora of people, and so
what's the essence?
Esentaye is kind of like we were going to find out who this child is, who is this ancestor return, what are the taboos. So it's a Ifa reading, and there are things that come along with that, like Ebo and stuff like that, sacrifice. But basically, bringing our children in to understand, like for example, if my mom had did that on me and found out my birth due is what it is, like but this person has a problem with authority, she gonna be talking back and all this type of stuff. Maybe the best way is not to be hitting her and all that type of stuff and talking down to her. You got to teach her it's really important that it's a taboo to disrespect your elders. That even though you might know more than your elders, yes ma'am, you know, same way that you see I do my daughters now. So basically I'm just saying that, so in that case, because I just created Daughters of the Flow, there are people that I still need to learn from. So from this point forward, I can do the Esentayes for the rest of her 4 or 5 children that are about to come. And but the Akosajai, the naming ceremony, I'm definitely doing that because I've done that for other people, and I can do that. So, but this is our first time doing it. This is our first time having a child where we will actually be 7-8 days later going to Ifa and saying, who is this? And finding out what is the name and what is the destiny, right? So I'm the first in my lineage of this generation. But Ifa said I'm not the first. Ifa says that if it wasn't for Ifa, that my family had went extinct, and there were 2 females that prayed for us. For us to remember and to come forward. And so I know that I am one of those females, like reincarnated. So these are the things that need to be unpacked in our families. I agree. All right. So that's why I created Daughters of the Flow. And so most of the Ifas are married to Babalaos or and so forth, and have undergone their Ifa ceremonies like Itefa or Ishefa, or they have gone Idosu, which is like initiation to Orisha. So whoever is in our righteous order, we are initiating people on our own, but they have to have had, meaning like both of my daughters are initiated to Ifa. So I know the group of Orisha and spirits that are working with them. I know what they're supposed to receive. I know what they're supposed to initiate to. First daughters always have to do that. Okay. And ours. So I'm just giving an example of how y'all can set it up for yourself. So in functionality, she's literally the vocal oracle of Ifa, or of Afa. She, the deities and the ancestors. She is a chief. So as you know, what is my title?
Chief Food Alchemist.
Chief Alchemist.
Chief Alchemist.
What is my title in Order Mother Earth?
Head Mother in charge.
Yes, which is also chief. So Amala is chief mother, but I am the chief because I am the old Damari of that situation. I created that. So I'm asking for people to do the same thing. Where Ananata, I think it's Miara now that is the chief of Girl Society. So this something else that we have to know. This is what the Oracle told me, that the first daughters always get hit the hardest. They have the most difficult life. We have more suffering than the middle child or the next child. That's because we're the first. And so we have to be trained, and we have to have immunization. And how do you have your immunization? You have to have a relationship with your elders, with your mothers, the ones that you can see and the ones that you can't see. You have to be confident in that relationship. And the confident looks like, oh yeah, I do food. I do vegan food. I specialize in that. Because you know what? All the women in my family, my great-grandmother, taking out diabetes. My grandmother, diabetes. My mother, diabetes. Something in me was like, no diabetes. I was too vain at the time. And so I became vegan. That was me at an early age, not understanding the cosmology and listening to the mothers in me. The mothers right here that we feed, that are right here at our umbilical cord, that was attached to my mother, that was attached to her mother, that was attached. The fact that I and my daughter was in my mother, was in my grandmother. You know, that's just how the ovaries work, right? And eggs work. So tapping into that is witchcraft. Because that means you are wise. I am a wise woman, breaking down all this stuff, telling people y'all need to have your own rites of passage. If you don't have your own rites of passage in your own family, why would I trust you with my daughters in the community? So that is what I'm saying. Start home. Start home. Start with your mothers. If you can't get with them, go to your aunties. You can't get with them. Some water, some candles, some. That's why at our next mommy thing, we all have to wear white. Women have to bring a picture of their mothers, their maternal mothers, or they have to bring something that resonates with them from their maternal line. Because we're getting down to business. We're not just talking about it here. We're being about it. Other people that are Christian, for example, my mom was telling me that she really wants a sister so-and-so who's like a minister to come to these things because she know it would be helpful, but she just can't get back past it. So she asked me to find something in the Bible that can show and prove that she's allowed to come to a circle like I'm having. So that's when I found out about the Corinthians, and I started documenting all of these different Bible passages that show this anointing oil. We're doing that. This anointing oil, there's weed in the Bible, so it's okay. We're doing that. You know, so because that's how my mom works, and I love that. I know about the mothers in my lineage. I have never met a more astute business person than my mom. That's in my lineage. So basically, you guys, we need to debunk witchcraft. We need to debunk the negative connotation. We need to take it back. All these things that we're into, we need to make sure we're correcting people when they saying, oh, a witch is this and a witch is that. No, it's not. That is a form of what people would say, I would say, supremacy. I don't want to say white supremacy, but it's a form of somebody trying to have supremacy over what is naturally our birthright. Okay, so it's time for us to understand at the core of what is truly ancestral and what is merely magical, which is the pursuit of our own self, which is believe in you. So it is 3 minutes before the hour. It has been my time. I am so thankful. This has been my favorite show so far.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
You are amazing.
I am a reflection.
You are amazing.
So please don't forget to download the app of WJVSradio.com. Tune in next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. Makai. All right.
Yeah, I just faded him in.
All right, cool. I was like, why you call me out like that?
Yeah, the volume is down. Yeah, I keep the volume with y'all down.
To my sound engineer.
Yeah. When y'all are talking, I keep the speakers down so there's no echo. And then I just was fading him in.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you fine? It's okay. It's like the back end. I thought Tim was coming tonight.
Break is over. Time to hustle harder because the planet getting older. Pole shift positions, now the climate getting colder. Politicians trick you with their bluff and Texas hold
really get it
but
together.
I'm not because mama told me never fold up. Golden, never doubt the mission.
Because I'm chosen.
Universe is red, pick Trojan like a Trojan. Fluid while they frozen, natural while they posing.
Standing on my square with my third eye open. Abundance, child of the ethers. Come on, Sarat. Sarat.
Here I am, the gatekeeper, great teacher, sovereign on the land.
Oshun with a fan, fighting with a people with a weapon at her hand.
With you and your clan with a proper
Islam.
Your man's overstand that the master holds a plan that we coming with demands because it's time to
stop playing. Hey. Stop playing. Now, Natawa, how do I end this though? Oh, I see. End stream.